Oracle ERP Cloud and Oracle NetSuite are two products that our clients often compare to one another and ask us to help evaluate. In fact, both systems made the top 3 of our top 10 list of ERP systems for 2020. Today I'm going to talk about how these two products compare and how to find the best solution for you. My name is Eric Kimberling and I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting. We are an independent consulting firm that helps clients through their digital transformation journeys. And as I mentioned, we recently published our top 10 list of ERP systems for 2020. And number 1 on the list was Oracle NetSuite. Number 3 on the list was Oracle ERP Cloud. Now that doesn't necessarily mean, however, that Oracle NetSuite is always the best solution for organizations. This is a general top 10 list, and a lot of this is going to come down to your specific criteria. So what I wanted to do today is talk about what some of those high-level criteria are to help you differentiate between these two solutions. So the first thing we look at when evaluating these two systems is flexibility. There is a distinct advantage that Oracle ERP Cloud tends to have with flexibility if this is an important criteria for you, simply because A, it's not a SaaS multi-tenant model to where you're not sharing the same instance of the solution with thousands of other customers. You have your own potential instance of the software with ERP Cloud. And B, the integration tools and the customization tools are more robust and more mature in many ways for Oracle ERP Cloud. So if you are an organization that values flexibility, if you've got a very complex and diverse operations, and you're the type of organization that may not fit into a vanilla off-the-shelf system, and you need that flexibility to get you that extra functionality that doesn't come out of the box, Oracle ERP Cloud could be the better solution for you when compared to Oracle NetSuite. Now the next thing we look at is scalability. When we talk about scalability, there's a couple different things we mean. In the past, scalability has always meant, could we manage or handle a certain volume of transactions or a certain number of orders per day? Both these systems are going to be able to handle volumes and handle the transactional data volumes that you're probably going to need. But when we talk about scalability, it's defining how consistent business processes are going to be across the organization. So if our goal here is to drive a certain amount of standardization and scalability in that way, then Oracle NetSuite has a slight advantage. Part of the reason it has the advantage is because it's a SaaS cloud product that's pre-built and has less flexibility. So you're giving up some flexibility, but on the flip side, you're creating more repeatable scalability potentially with the solution. So if scalability is important to you, if you're a larger organization or if you're really scaling for repeatable growth, Oracle NetSuite may have a slight advantage for you. Now the next thing we look at is functional maturity and also technical maturity. I kind of lump these into one category here as we look at these two systems. And what we mean by that is how mature are the business processes and the capabilities of the technology itself. This is an area that Oracle NetSuite has traditionally had the advantage simply because it originated as a SaaS and cloud solution over 20 years ago when the product was developed. So for that reason, the business processes, the technology itself is more mature and more established. And so if that level of maturity is important to your organization, then Oracle NetSuite may have the slight advantage in that category. The next thing we want to consider when evaluating Oracle ERP Cloud to NetSuite is the usability of the system from an employee experience or an employee usability perspective. If our priority is to create a certain amount of consistency in how employees use the system and a certain amount of user friendliness, Oracle NetSuite tends to have a slight advantage in general over Oracle ERP Cloud. Now, if our definition of usability for employees is having that flexibility that we talked about earlier, then obviously Oracle ERP Cloud is going to have the advantage there. So that's another thing to look at is how easy will the system be to use for your employees. Now, the caveat of that or the extra layer that we want to look at when we think about employee usability is how big of a change is this going to be for our employees? We've talked a lot about flexibility and how Oracle ERP Cloud is more flexible in general than Oracle NetSuite, and that flexibility allows us to change the software to accommodate current business processes for better or for worse, whereas NetSuite has more standardized, less flexible business processes that our people are going to have to change to or adapt to. So in that regard, that could create a bigger change. When I say that, I mean NetSuite could create a bigger change for people within the organization. So that's something to be aware of. It may or may not be an evaluation decision criteria, but it certainly should be something you consider as you develop your organizational change management plan for either solution. Along those same lines, another thing we look at is the ease of adoption and the adoption rate. So ease of adoption is going to be how easy is it for your employees to adopt to the software, and we just talked about usability of the technology, which tends to favor NetSuite. And if we look at adoption rate as well, that's something else we look at, is how many organizations are using this product, what is the adoption rate among companies in the ERP space or companies using ERP systems. And in general, that's going to point to Oracle NetSuite as well. Simply not as many organizations that we see are using Oracle ERP Cloud. There's more companies out there using NetSuite. And a part of that is because NetSuite historically has focused more on the small and mid-market, and there's just more companies like that out there in the marketplace using that system. Now, if we were to isolate the adoption rate just for Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000 companies, that's going to tilt more toward Oracle ERP Cloud. So it really depends on where you are in the market, how big you are, the type of diversification you're looking for in your ERP capabilities. For a lot of our larger organizations, breadth of capabilities is very important, and this is another category we look at when evaluating these systems for our clients. So if you're a large multinational organization with very diverse operations, complex operations, as I mentioned before, Oracle ERP Cloud is probably going to have a slight leg up in that category. If you're a newer or a less mature organization that hasn't been around as long, maybe you're not as big, maybe your operations are pretty standard, you don't have a lot of variation from your core vanilla operations, Oracle NetSuite, through its repeatable processes and more standardized processes and workflows, may be a better fit for you. So that whole breadth of capability is important to understand, because Oracle ERP Cloud is going to be better for those multinational organizations, very diversified product lines, diverse customer bases, diverse geographies you're selling to. That's going to fit more the Oracle ERP Cloud model. If there's a certain amount of consistency already within your business model and your operations, Oracle NetSuite could be a better fit for you. And then finally, the last thing we look at is your system integrator options. And this is an area where the two products are very different, but now that Oracle owns both of them, I suspect this is going to narrow the gap. And when we talk about system integrator options, what we're talking about is what is the quality and robustness of resources in the marketplace that you have at your disposal to help you implement the product from a functional and technical perspective. And NetSuite has a slight disadvantage here simply because it hasn't built out yet that robust ecosystem that Oracle has historically had. Oracle has some very large system integrators and relationships with resellers that they've nurtured over the years that provide customers with a number of options that they can choose from when implementing Oracle ERP Cloud or any of the legacy Oracle products. When it comes to NetSuite, NetSuite hasn't quite built out that same channel network yet. That's changing ever since Oracle acquired them. It seems like bigger companies are starting to jump on the NetSuite bandwagon and starting to support the product, but they're still not there yet in terms of providing that robust implementation capability within the reseller network. So for that reason, when we look at system integrators, that's going to point slightly to Oracle ERP Cloud. So those are some things to consider as you look at your ERP evaluation, particularly if you're looking at Oracle NetSuite versus Oracle ERP Cloud. I encourage you to download the top 10 list to learn more about the different options available to you. I have included a link to that and other software selection resources below, so I hope that you'll take advantage of those resources that are available to you. I also encourage you to either like or dislike this video if you have feedback to share, and I'd also love to hear any comments you have. If you're a user of NetSuite or Oracle ERP Cloud, I'd love to hear what your feedback is. What was the implementation like? What's the go live been like? How is your company using the product? I'd love to hear whatever feedback you have, so please provide comments below. I want to thank you very much for joining today and hope you have a great day. Thanks.